All right, coming live. This is the blog for MakeMoneyOnlineForLife.com. It is January 12th, 2020, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And welcome everyone who to this live stream. And let's get right into it. So I created a little bit of an outline of what I want to talk about today, and let's get right to it. I want to first take a look into 2019 and just have a just 2019 was a good year for the most part, and it turned out to end up a not so good year towards in December, basically for me. I earned through my app business a few $1,000s in 2019, but because of reasons that I already elaborated in previous shows, I got terminated by AdSense, and all my revenue income was basically built onto AdSense, so I lost everything. I lost all the income that I had, with the exception of in-app Play Store purchases, so people buying actually the apps that I had to offer. I think 2019 was a great year because I started this blog. I had a thriving business that was self-sustaining for most of the year. I built this business over the course of 3.5 years, and it showed its fruits, and I wanted to expand on it, and I wanted to open a new stream of passive income, and I'm on track of doing that. Now, my New Year's resolution for 2020 obviously is to build out this blog, Make Money Online for Life, create way more content, and to just replace the income that I had with my app business, and hopefully maybe even exceed it. One of the things that I want to start doing, because the advertising model is not working out too well for me, is to actually see if I can get away from depending on other people and depending on other companies to provide money for this business. And as a means of doing this, I want to see if I can build out my email subscription list. I want to create a 7-day intro course for people signing up with my email list about blogging and how to set up a blog. Now, this is something that almost every single blog has. The difference here being that I can actually go into details, technical details, and talk about utilizing not just Bluehost, but also what my main provider is, DreamHost, which I have been very, very happy for the last 14 years or so. I also want to go into the pros and cons of spinning off your own Linux or Windows instance on AWS, so I can go into technical details there if need be, because I think going with a website page builder like Wix is not the right thing for most bloggers, right? It may work for some, but I think for the majority of people, they really should have their own website hosting services. They should have their own email accounts and email ending. So if in my case, MakeMoneyOnline.com, so my email is mamoon@MakeMoneyOnlineForLife.com. I want to also think about creating an online course about blogging and or Pinterest in general. Pinterest being the main source to drive traffic to your website. It has been working pretty well so far. It's slow, but it's working pretty well. I will get into more details and a couple of numbers later on. And I want to achieve this by February, right? So setting goals always has to be time boxed. So you set a timeline by which you want to achieve those courses, and I want to see if I can finish this up by February. That will give me about a month and a half going from now. The other thing I want to do is I want to build out and create more contents for my podcast and for my YouTube channel, even though I can no longer monetize my YouTube channel. That was never the main source of income that I have had planned. And in general, because of all the time I spent on my apps and on research and on other things, I have not been able to create too much content for the blog, which is sad, right? I want to create much more content, and want to see if I can basically improve the numbers by creating kick-ass contents, right? Contents that is hard to find online or that is not available online yet, and I want to give it my personal touch and talk from the heart, talk what's really going on, right? I don't want to sugarcoat it. And as you will see later on, I am struggling with the numbers as well. I think every new blogger will struggle with numbers, but eventually I have no doubt in my mind that I will succeed with this blog, and I want to document my challenges, and I want to document my journey to success. So I've already talked about AdSense enough. The bottom line is to summarize it up. In mid-December, I got an email that they terminated my account for basically for non-reason. They said that I had incentivized traffic, and according to the terms of services, incentivized traffic also means that you can, if you blog about or link towards sites which offer incentivized traffic, they can kick you out. So far, I have not received any feedback from Google AdSense to my appeal that I filled in, and I filled in the appeal 27 days. They warn you, or they let you know, that you should only fill in one appeals form, and I have done that, but I will in a day or two I will probably send another appeal and see if my previous appeal has been lost or what is going on. So Google AdSense has basically been quiet after I sent the appeals, which is bad. Really want to know why I was kicked out. If Google wants to kick me out because of quality services, or because they don't like my name or my face, then they should be open and tell me why. They should not hide behind random reasons that don't make sense. This is not just for me, this is also to inform other people out there to see what Google AdSense is actually looking for. The one thing that really sucks actually is that AdSense, when they terminate your AdSense account, they terminate also your AdMob account, which was the main income source for me for Google, for Android apps, and it also terminates your ability to ever earn money through YouTube, because that's YouTube's only means of monetization is through AdSense. And because this termination is for life, that means that they put a black stamp on your forehead, and that's it. For the rest of your life, that you're going to be banned, and there is no way to mitigate this. And it doesn't seem to be any way to get into contact with them. Anyway, so that was AdSense. Let's move on. I have looked into alternatives to AdSense, and one of the alternatives that I've implemented on this Make Money for Online for Live blog is through media.net. Now, media.net is basically a consortium of Yahoo, Microsoft, Bing, and some other companies to provide an alternative to AdSense, but it works slightly different. It's it's basically a network that doesn't pay for the number of impressions, but it is paying for the number of interactions with the user. So as long as nobody is clicking on the advertising, you will receive no income, no $0. And with that said, I have, ever since I started utilizing media.net, I had 1,700 impressions, which is not a lot. I understand this. I had 0 clicks and I had $0 revenue so far. And I've been with media.net for about a month and a half now. It is also, looking at media.net, it is also really hard to get an insight into the stats. So if you want to drill down and see what's going on, with regard to geo scope and where people are clicking from, or where people are coming from to look at your ads, you will not be able to get that information from the media.net stats or report forms at all. So I think there's a lot that they can improve on in this area. I read that media.net provides us an approximate CPM of about $1 for every 1,000 views, but again, I had more than 1,000 impressions and I have not received a single cent so far. And I also read that others had much more success with media.net, where they tripled their ad revenue through media.net as opposed to AdSense, and they're very happy. But I think it all depends on the niche that you're in, obviously the number of impressions that you get, and how much attention is being paid to. So I need to continue to do a little bit more research and see if there's any way that I can optimize this and see if there's a way for me to earn money. I also want to see if it may make sense for me to defer this and maybe turn it off for now. And if at some point I get more people to visit my site, I may turn it back on again. So I'll do some more research. I will update you guys either here or on my blogs. And I also want to see if there are other possible networks out there. My research so far has basically said that media.net, AdSense, those are the two big ones, and the other ones would be much worse off. So I'll see. I will do some more investigation. Now, going to the replacement of AdMob, which is basically Google AdSense for application, I replaced it with MoPub. And that network is basically driven or built by Twitter. And it works very, very similar to AdMob, Google AdMob. The difference is that the return that you get for your hard work is much less. So in the last 2 days, I have 2 apps that I converted now. And in the last 2 days, I received about 850,000 requests with 71,500 impressions. So 71,500 times advertising has been shown on my apps. And the fill rate, so basically the ratio between the requests and the impressions, is hovering between 8 and 10%. Now 8 and 10%, that is way low. So with AdSense, I believe the fill rate was always between 80 and 100%. So every request would basically be served as an ad. So I may need to look into this and see if there's a way to get less requests and more impressions, a bit to improve the fill rate. For the app that has lower users, which is, I would say, what most apps probably have, like a standard smaller app, I received about 1,000 impressions within the last 2 weeks, and I was paid, or I'm going to get paid 43 cents for these 1,000 impressions. For the big app that I converted, I got 70,500 impressions of ads, so 70,000 ads have been displayed, and for this effort I received $11.04. So you can see it's very, very low. I think 70,000 impressions is quite a good number for an app, and receiving $11 is about 20 times lower than what I used to get with AdSense. So yes, AdSense, this app would make between $150 and $200 or even more each month, and it's down to 2 pennies. Now, $11 is still better than zero, but it's really pennies. So I can no longer see my app business as a business. It has basically slipped into becoming a hobby again, which is sad, and I am spending way too much time on my hobby and not enough time on this blog building out content. So we'll see how this goes. Also want to say that the flexibility that AdSense gives you with AdMob is much better. I think there are many more things that you as a app developer can tweak with regard to the ads and where they are displayed, how they are displayed, and based on the geoscope, how much money you are willing to take for display. So I played around with the AdSense settings quite extensively as long as I could, and MoPub does not offer as much control over your ads as well. It offers more flexibilities in other areas, like it will actually show you the list of all the advertisings that are being displayed on your apps, and you can selectively display or selectively decide to no longer show a specific ad on your apps. But this is something that would take a lot of time because there are a lot of ads that are being displayed. So I want to now talk about Pinterest, and I looked into the numbers, and so the next couple of minutes are going to say a lot of numbers. In December, I had 50,000 impressions. I had 1,400 audience and 794 engagements and 373 clicks. Now those are all stats. Those are all vanity stats, and I know except for the clicks. But I just want to keep track of them and see how things go, if they go in the right direction or not. These numbers were for the overall account, so including the pins that I repinned. In January, so December again, I had 52,000 impressions. In January, I have so far 209,000 impressions. I used to have 1,400 audience, and so far in January, I have 198,000 audience. 794 engaged. In January so far, I have 14,800 engaged. And from 373 clicks, I went up to 5,252 clicks. Now those are all great numbers, but what really counts is when I limit it to the actual pins, that my actual pins and the links that are linking directly to my site. Now I picked up one viral pin in January, and that's why the numbers look so good. Unfortunately, this was not one of my pins, so it was a pin that pointed to another web page, and that's why the numbers look so good. So looking at the numbers for MakeMoneyOnlineForLife.com, I had 22,000 impressions in December. In January, so far, 12 days in, I have only 7,000 impressions. So I'm on track to be at or below my December numbers. I used to have 18,000 audience in December, and so far in January I have 5.7 thousand audience. Used to have 263 engaged, and so far in January I have only 51 engaged, so there's a big gap there. Even if I would triple this would still be way below, and I have to see how I can improve this, probably with some pin redesigns, or I need to do some more research there. And from 18 clicks in December, I went down to 6 clicks in January so far. But 6 clicks, right? 6, 12, 18, that would be triple that by the end of the month, and I would be right on target to have the same numbers as in December. So a little bit disappointed for my Pinterest results so far, especially considering that I'm doing a lot using Tailwind, and I'm pinning and repinning a lot of other people's pins, but I need to focus more on content and repin my own pins, and that ratio needs to get much better. But for that in order for this to happen, I need to follow through with my New Year's resolution, and I need to create much more content for my own blog. In Tailwind, I'm partaking in with 5 tribes, but 2 of the tribes so far had 0 reshares, so I need to get rid of those. I need to find better tribes and add more pins, more of my own pins to those tribes as well. My pins itself do not get as much traction as I want to. My video pins in general are doing much better, which is great. Really like to create those little video pins. They're kind of cute, and they tell a story rather than just having a single image stock photo. They're much more they allow you to be much more creative with your pins. And the other thing I must do is actually I need to look into A/B testing for my design. So in December I came up with my design. I personally like it, but that's not what counts. What counts is that the number of clicks and the number of engagement goes up. So for the rest of January, I want to play around and see if there are designs that garner better engagement and more click-through, higher click-through rate for my blog. And I will also then document this and let you know what the outcome was and how I can create viral pins that will really improve my engagement. For my blog expenses, I have spent so far $0 this year on my blog, which is great, of course, because I don't have any income anymore, or my income is very, very limited. I still expect I have to pay for Google Ads for the first half of December, which obviously will be painful, but I have to pay the bills. And so I need to bootstrap and go back into the startup mode and be very, very cognizant of any penny I spend, which was not my original goal. My original goal was actually to get much more content from other people who have done well and post that content on my blog. Always letting everyone know that this is not my own content, but linking to the actual source for that content. So this goal has changed, and I will need to be much more in bootstrap mode and preserve the money to make this, and see it as a business, right? As long as there's not enough money coming in, I will not be able to spend money on the blog going out. As for blogging, again, right, I have not spent enough time on creating content in January. I want to improve on that, but unfortunately I had to spend a lot of time on my apps. Yesterday, for example, there was another strike coming from Google, from the Google Play Store, for one of my apps that I have to upgrade it to 64-bit, and it took me all day to basically get this technical challenge done, because Google changes over time a lot of the APIs underneath, and if you don't keep your apps up to date, there are a lot of things that have changed, and so you need to adjust your code a lot. Again, since my app business no longer can be counted as a business, it's more or less a hobby, I'm spending way too much time, and I need to cut back and really focus on this blog and growing this blog and my audience and my content. I definitely would like to, as I stated before, not only increase the content on this blog, but also at the same time increase the content I create for my podcast and for the YouTube channel. And the other thing I want to see and want to do a little bit of research into, Pinterest offers a way to promote your pin, which is paid advertising. I want to read up of what the experience is from other people and if it worked for them. But again, at this point, it's more a point of research and not a way to increase a revenue stream. With that said, we're about 25 minutes in, and I went through all the points I wanted to go through. Now, about this live stream, so far I have not had participants yet, So when you listen to this, you will be listening to a recording. I would definitely like to get people into this live stream and provide some feedback and ask me some questions. And together, I think we can see what the challenges are and how to best work around these challenges. A lot of people have been able to drive a lot of traffic to their blogs. There's no reason why I should not be able to do this as well. But most of the blogs and most of the results I read were actually from between 2015 to 2017. So I don't know if Pinterest has changed or if this is still a feasible business model. I will continue to try and to work on my blogs and contents, and I will talk to you then next time.